The Algonquin people tell a story that has survived centuries of the most brutal winters on Earth. It's the legend of the Wendigo. Now, they say this creature is born out of pure, unadulterated desperation. A human being who, when faced with the absolute starvation of a freezing, isolated winter, turned to the unthinkable to stay alive. They consumed another human being. But the spiritual trap of that survival choice is malicious. See, the exact second that flesh crossed their lips, they changed. They were stripped of their humanity, transformed into a gaunt, skeletal beast with parched skin stretched tight over exposed bone, eyes recessed deep into the hollow skull cavities, and a complexion the color of cold ash. But the most terrifying trait of the Wendigo isn't its jawline or its claws. It's the curse of its stomach. The Wendigo is doomed to a life of eternal starvation. And here is the psychological trap of the beast. The legend says that every single time the Wendigo hunts and devours a victim, it instantly grows in size proportional to what it just consumed. Think about the horror of that design. Now, no matter how much it gorges itself, it remains just as empty, just as ravenous, and even more desperate than it was a minute ago. Because its capacity for hunger expands with every single bite. It is a monster that grows larger the more you feed it. And if you're standing on this asphalt today, trying to build a sober life, you don't need a history lesson to know exactly what that creature feels like. You've met it, and you've lived with it. Welcome to Forged from the Ashes. I am your host, Jeff, and today we step into the freezing darkness, and we look this beast dead in the eyes, and we dismantle this insatiable, bottomless hunger of the recovery void. Because today we audit the Wendigo. Before we look at the nature of this hunger, we have to stop running from it. When a craving hits, your instinct is to panic. Your heart rate spikes, your breathing goes shallow, and you start screaming to find a quick fix to numb that emptiness. Stop running through the snow. Stand completely still right where you are. Pull your awareness away from the panic. Step inside your own skin and look directly at that coldness. Now, I want you to take a deep, full, clean, fresh air of breath. And I want you to pull it all the way down to the deepest part of your lungs. And I want you to hold it there right at the top. And I want you to feel that cold air settling. Feel the absolute stillness of your physical body. Feel your feet anchored, heavy onto solid ground. You are clean, you are vertical, and you are completely safe in this exact moment. Now release it. Let it go all the way out. Drop your shoulders. Quiet that internal panic and let your system cool down. The howling has stopped and the air is still and the channel is open. So let's step up to that mirror and have a look. When you take away the drugs and the alcohol, you're left with a massive, yarning black hole inside your chest. It's the void that you've spent years trying to drown. Look in the mirror. Look yourself dead in the eyes. And let's face some truth. What are you secretly trying to shovel into that empty space to avoid sitting with that raw hunger of your own recovery? So let's stop playing games. So when someone gets out of treatment, they often think the battle is won just because their drug tests are clean. But the Wendigo inside their mind doesn't disappear. It just changes strategy. Suddenly, you start obsessively chasing money. You use sex, gambling, toxic relationships, overworking, or even explosive bursts of rage to try and fill that bottomless pit. But look at the reality of that pattern. It is the exact same curse as the beast. Because every time you feed that void with cheap, temporary substitute, that hunger doesn't go away. It grows. Your capacity for self-destruction expands. You end up just as empty and desperate and entirely closer to picking up a drink or a needle just to stop the screaming in your head. You're terrified to sit with the emptiness because it is heavy, it's cold, and it is uncomfortable. It forces you to look at your unvarnished self without an escape hatch. But if you don't learn how to manage the void right here in the early stages of recovery, you will spend the rest of your life running from a monster that you are actively keeping alive. So let's look at the standards for starving this beast. To completely neutralize the insatiable hunger of early recovery and keep that beast dormant every single day, you got to lock into some 3 strict operational standards. The first one, starve the first bite. The Wendigo only grows when it gets a taste. In your recovery, that first bite isn't just the relapse. It's the mental indulgence that leads to it. It's romanticizing the old days, texting the old connection, just to check in, or hanging out in places where you used to lose your mind. You don't bargain with a monster. You don't give it an inch. You cut off the supply chain instantly. When a thought enters your head, you starve it out before it takes root. The second one, separate the self from the scream. When a severe craving hits, it will speak to you in your own voice. It will tell you that you are the one who wants a drink and that you can't handle the stress and that you are bound to fail anyway. That is a chemical lie. That is the beast rattling the cage of an old neural pathway. Learn to identify the voice. When that hunger screams, you stop and you say it out loud. That isn't me. That is the addiction trying to feed itself. Separate your identity from the symptom. The third one, build endurance for the cold. Early recovery means your skin is going to crawl sometimes. You will feel bored, lonely, and hollowed out. Accept it. Stop trying to instantly fix a bad mood with a cheap dopamine spike. Sit in the discomfort. Treat the void like a weight training room for your character. The emptiness cannot kill you, but running from it will. Build the tolerance to stay quiet and disciplined when the internal weather turns freezing. The monster only has the power you give it. Stop feeding the insatiable void with drama, cheap substitutes, or old habits. Hunger will pass, and the weather will change. But the discipline you build today will keep you standing forever. Starve the beast, separate the voice, and endure the cold until the light breaks. So your tracking directive for this week is a void audit. I want you to open your journal, write down the number one substitute behavior you've been using to distract yourself from the emptiness of early sobriety. Whether that's a new obsession, an old resentment, or an unhealthy habit loop, call it out, name it. Make the conscious decision to starve it. Now, head over to Instagram or Facebook and hit us up at Forged from the Ashes podcast. Under the episode 4 post, drop a comment or even a snowflake emoji to let everyone know you are standing firm in the cold and that you are starving the beast. Let's keep each other accountable and keep the heat burning clean. And remember, we rise, we recover, and we reignite hope together. I am Jeff, the Forge Father. And you don't have to have all the answers. Just don't give up on yourself. Until next time, I will see you all next week for episode 5. Thank you for tuning in, and good night.
Wendigo, the hunger has a name. It hollows out the ribs to make a cage. Wendigo, the forest is a mouth, and I am the tooth that breaks the ice. I am the tooth. Shadows are eating the moon. My footprints are filling with iron snow. I see my brothers in the flicker of the hearth. They look like warmth, they look like fire. The ghost of my hand is a claw now. Wendigo, the hunger has a name. It hollows out the ribs to make a cage. Wendigo, the forest is a mouth, and I am the tooth that breaks the ice. I am the tooth. Wendigo! 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 The snow does not fill the hole where the heart was. Now I walk forever, always hungry.
If you're listening to this right now and you're in that place, if your mind feels like it's turning on you, if you're having thoughts about hurting yourself or someone else, you're not alone. There is help. In the United States, you can call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, it's confidential, and it's there 24/7. You don't have to fight this alone.